Sup. My name is Ryu for the TheYugiohCouncil. Welcome to Coffee Time, which is a Monday discussion video. And this Monday we're talking about the ban lists. And this will be my prediction list of what I think will happen. And what I'm hoping you guys will do from now to like Thursday, even afterwards, still post them. Is you will go in the comment section, let me know your exact lists. Bans, limited, semi, and unlimited. Let me know everything you think or want to happen. This is going to be the list that I think is going to happen. What I want would be a totally different thing that I'm just going to stay away from, because when I say what I want, most people get mad at me, so I'm just going to keep away from that. So we're going to be talking about the ban list, so make sure to do that in the comment section, and then later this week I will read them off right before we get into the ban list. Wednesday we will have a gold series. A little side note, Wednesday we will have gold series, and today, by the time this is done, being up and everything, I will be recording more dual videos for you. So, on with the show. I'm going to start with the banned section first, and the only thing I could really see being banned is Snatch Steal. I know we just got it back, and most people were like, well, you know what, Ryu, in all honesty, MST stops it. But here's the problem. There's only so much MST you can do when you have 3 copies and about 40 back row to deal with. We don't have that back row solution. I don't think Konami's going to give it to us. Looking at the Gold Series spoilers, if there was Heavy Storm, Heartbeat Feather Duster, or Cold Waves, something along those lines, then I think it would be a direct indicator to say, okay, it's coming back, to that point, and MST will go down, just to make sense. I don't see that happening, in all seriousness. I really just do not see it happening. So, I'm going to stay away from that. I'm predicting that Konami will reban Snatch Steal, because most games have been won because of Snatch Steal. Let's be honest here. If you steal that giant monster, this allows you to basically play Raigeki, but then play Snatch Steal and get over Quasar. And it's just annoying to deal with. In all honesty, I think every one of us can agree that Snatch Steal wins games on its own, this entire format. And that right there basically would say, hey, Konami, it's time to fucking reban this thing, because this thing is just breaking the game. In all honesty, in my eyes, it really is breaking the game. I can go back on dual videos from this past format and just say how many times I've won because of Snatch Steal. And it's a disgusting victory, but I win with Snatch Steal, so that's something I figure they'll ban. Going to the limit sections, that's the only thing I really think they'll ban this time. Going to the limit section, I'm going to start with Crush Card Virus. I know many of you are going like, wait, what? Ryu's actually saying that Crush Card's coming back? Let's be honest, it's in Gold Series. It's not just a coincidence that it's getting an errata and a reprint. It just makes sense. It's still powerful. And if you guys don't know the effect, I'm going to read it off for you. You tribute 1 Dark Monster with 1500 or less attack, and then your opponent takes no damage for the rest of the turn. Also, look at your opponent's hand and all monsters they control, and you destroy monsters among them with 1500 more attack. Then your opponent can destroy up to 3 cards with 1500 more attack in their deck. Meaning, they get a free 3 mil. So instead of this working for 3 straight turns, it's going to get that mil. This allows a lot of players to have that out against Netcloths when it comes to a deck that's dark. Shadows, Chaos Dragons can play this. Heroes can actually play this because of Shadow Mist. There's plenty of things that can play the Crush Card Virus. And the best part is that it's a tribute effect, so it's going to most of the time go off. Blackwings even play this. Blackwings are getting massive things. So, hey, you know what? This is a good time to come back. This was Konami logic. We're reprinting it. It's not broken anymore. The player base is asking for it. We had an OCG. It didn't break the game over there. It's just that the OCG players like to play whatever the fuck they like to play, and they're going to stick to it. Unlike, no disrespect to anyone, in TCG, where we play the newest, hottest thing. OCG, they play exactly what they want to play. Usually that's a dark deck. Blackwing, Shadows, it just doesn't matter. They just play what they want to. But Crush Card Virus, I can easily see coming back, and it's not the only ban card I could see coming back. I could see this one coming back too. Alright, the next card I'm talking about is Ring of Destruction, because A is in Gold Series, B it has the errata, and C it just seems like a Konami move to bring back everything that's being errated and everything that's not broken anymore. So Konami wants to give us more toys on this list. That's how I feel about it, in all honesty. It just feels like, hey, we have all this crap that we want to throw at you, and Gold Series is the perfect time to do that. So here's the reprint for it. So prices don't go insane because Battle Pack's not a reprint. And, just here, just have it all, and we're going to keep reprinting shit. It just seems like a Konami thing. So Ring of Destruction, I could see being put back on the limited list, as well as this boy here, Sinister Serpent. Also got an errata, also in Gold Series. Just makes a lot of sense, Not broken as, it used to be, and people will still say, but you could use, Carbon Cut, 52 Wind Blast for free. Yeah, you gotta get this guy in the graveyard first, you gotta draw him, or you gotta get that card to put him in the graveyard, and yeah, I know Swap Frog fucking exists, but when was the last time you saw a deck that played Swap Frog that also played Carbon Cut in the same build? I don't... it's not something you're going to see every freaking day of the week. It's just not. You're not going to go to locals and see that. Unless there's that one guy just, super dedicated to making a Citizen Serpent a thing, it's not going to be a thing. So, while we're on the subject of those three cards, Crush, Ring, Sinister, there's also Exchange of the Spirit and, obviously, Temple of the Kings, that I think will be making a return. They're getting reprinted in Gold Series. It just makes sense. It mimics the OCG list to a point, where it's like, we're just going to give you this now because it worked in OCG, and I'm pretty sure it'll stick over here without being a problem. It just seems a Konami thing to do, to say, alright, its time is up, let's clear up the balance a little bit, let's just throw Snatch Steal on there, because that shit's still not fucking good, that shit is still broken, and let's just, bring these back, because these are okay to bring back. I mean, the only thing with Temple of the Kings, the errata, is that you could play the trap card the turn you set it, and that's about it. Otherwise than that, it's nothing, super broken. You can't bring out a Synchro or an Exceed anymore out of your extra deck. It has to be a fusion from the errata I read. So it's a much different thing. In Exchange of the Spirit, it's a lot more toned down. Since Serpent is too. Now let's move on to things that I think Konami will actually limit that are not returning. I think these are going to be the limits that they will actually put into the game. I think they're going to hit Shadow Winda. It's not me hating Shadow Winda. It is something I would love to see because honestly, I don't like this or Ophion, but in all honesty, it just seems like a Konami fucking thing to do to say, alright, checks the list. We sold all the Shadows we could. Now it's time to just get rid of it. So this way, people will buy more neckcloths. But sir, neckcloths already sold the fuck on out. Well, we gotta sell the next thing. I don't know what the next thing is for Konami because I don't fully freaking remember. But anyways, they're going to want to sell you more shit. So let's get Shadows out of the picture kind of thing, right? So that and Shadow Fusion, I think Konami will actually limit just to deteriorate from people playing it. It's kind of that what they did to Infinities, and you can say that because Infinities won Worlds. But it's to a point because Infinity won Worlds. It's because people kept playing them. So, hey, guess what? Let's hit Shadows for that same fucking reason. Let's hit the Fusion. Let's hit the Winda. They're not nearly as powerful anymore. Now we can not worry about them topping at tournaments. We don't have to worry about them being rogue. That just seems a Konami thing that would happen. Alright, moving on. Because I want to just get through this quickly. Skill Drain. It seems about time because we only have 3 MST. We don't seem to have that big card, that massive removal to deal with everything in the back row. This and Vanities. And Cleaforts are... This is like the slap on the wrist to Cleaforts. And everything's going to slap on the wrist in some form. I think Burning Abyss would be like Tour Guide or something. I just left it off because I wasn't completely sure. I wasn't making up my mind. It's either going to be Scarm or the one that basically brings one out of the deck, or it's going to be Tour Guide. I feel it's going to be Tour Guide because it seems like a Konami thing to do, but Skill Drain is just something that I see happening, if not now, then on the next list, to basically just, slap on the wrist Cleafort. It's not going to kill him, just going to slap him on the wrist. This is one of their better cards, so hey, let's, take that away from them to a point. They have everything else, they're a great deck. They have all that consistency. Let's just slap them on the wrist and just limit this, It's not that I hate the deck. I have no problem with, the meta right now, outside of just, Neckcloths being so fast. Again, being so fast, not so stupid. Bonjou, I think this is something that we're going to see. If there's any hits in the claws, which I don't believe there will be, it will be Bonjou or it will be the Prepper Rights. The reason for Prepper Rights that I don't believe it's going to be is because of Gold Series. But then again, they could just say, you know what, fuck it, needed it. End of story. We kind of just threw it in there, but then it's a wasted slot for Gold Series. So I think if they're gonna hit something, it's gonna be Bonjou. Everything, I think it's gonna be Bonjou if they hit it. Bonjou has the flexibility to search either one. Prepper Rights can only do the monster unless the spell's in the graveyard, making it a little more balanced. So, instead of going +2, you're just gonna get the 1. I think it's gonna be Bonjou that gets the hit, though. I really, really do. And I don't want Bonjou to get the hits, not because I'm the new Blue Eyes I put out. It just, I don't think Bonjou is really the issue. It should be the Jin, the Jin that basically says no special summoning. How many times, like I've said to you guys, that card is just winning games? Snatch Seal doesn't fully help with it. Ring of Destruction will help to a point, but, I don't see them hitting it now, but it just seems like a thing later down the line. This is the big one that I'm going to end the limit section on, is Trishulia. I think this is finally the time we're going to see Trishulia. I think we haven't seen it in Gold Series yet because there's not enough leaks. Maybe we'll see it by the time this video goes out. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe when we open on, Wednesday. By Wednesday, we'll probably know everything. If Trishulia is found in Gold Series, it would just make all the sense of the world to reprint it there. Or it could just be the Konami move where it'll get reprinted somewhere else, and they'll just they'll just say, okay, it's back at 1, and then the prices skyrocket. It's just something I could see happening. It's not, how do I put this without sounding like a dick? It's not as strong as it used to be because there's more outs to it. As where a few years ago there wasn't. So this is one of those things I could see coming back from Konami. But with that said, let's move on to the semi section. All right, now we move on to the semi section. And I'm gonna start with Dark Strike Fighter because it's done jack fucking shit. In all honesty, it's no good no more. It could easily go to 3, but it just seems like the Konami thing is slowly bringing it down to 3 just because they don't want to push it. So I think Dark Strike Fighter 2 is definitely something we'll see this Banlist. On top of that, I think we're going to see this Glow Bulb. I think we're going to see Glow Bulb at 2 because you can only play it the once per turn. Once per duel. I just butchered that. The once per duel. So I don't think it's even an issue. Glow Bulb hasn't really been an issue this entire whole fucking format, so I don't think it's going to be one at all. So I think the 2, it's perfect. It's something that Konami's just going to go, okay, you can have it back at 2. We don't care no more. It's not broken. And then Goyo Guardian. Why Goyo Guardian? Konami wants to freshen up the list a little bit. They want to clear up some room. Goyo's been played at 1 in certain decks. Blackwings mainly being one of the big ones. But let's be honest here. What deck is really going to play 2 Goyo Guardian? They have 15 slots that they can use, and they're limited to, what they can use. You want that, the flexibility of using different cards. With Goyo Guardian, it's not, let's be honest here, it's not 2008 no more, where 3 Goyo is staple, because it's the best level 6 we have. We have 30, freaking level 6 synchros, and Vulcan's pretty damn good. So maybe 2 Goyo, 1 Vulcan would be a thing, but for most decks, it's not going to ever be a thing. It'd be like 1 Goyo, 1 Vulcan, and then wherever that, generically they need to play, or 1 Goyo and whatever else they need to play. So Goyo can easily come back to 2. It just seems the Konami thing to do. And this is going to be my wild card for the semi-limit section, is Gear. It just seems to be, you know what? Gear haven't done nothing. They may leave it at 1, but it just seems like the Konami thing is say, all right, we'll start giving you stuff back. They take it away, and then they give you your toys back a little bit later when they're not as good. And I don't really think Gears have much to compete with, even with this. If this went to 2, I don't even think it's going to be a huge freaking thing. Now let's talk about Unlimited, because this is the real big thing for me. When it comes to the limits and the unlimited. So 2s are meh. There's really not much that can even go to 2 right now. So let's talk about the 3s. I really do think this is going to be the biggest one. Why? I'm just going to make this my point. Why put Sylvans in Gold Series? Don't get me wrong, they're not a bad deck. But from a Konami standpoint, why put Sylvans in if you cannot get people to play Sylvans? Put Lonefire 3, people will play them Sylvans, because 3 Lonefire is hello, I get anything I want out of the deck, and now I can play my deck, because my deck has 3 Lonefire Blossom. Am I right? I think I am. A little bit crazy, but I think I am. But in all seriousness, I think 3 Lone Fire Blossom would make sense because, hey, we have Sylvans in the set, so it just seems the Konami thing to say, okay, if Sylvans are there, why are they there? Let's put Lone Fire Blossom at 3 to make a reason for it being there. It just makes sense. And I know many of you are probably going, but Sylvan's tier 1. I don't really think they would even hit tier 1. I think they would hit a high tier 2 where they would have the possibility of actually topping. Right now, don't get me wrong, they're a great deck. They open Soul Charge or Miracle Fertilizer or the Supernova, Supernova Nutrient. You know what I'm talking about, the nutrient. Super Solar Nutrient. I always get tongue twisted on that. But this also allows the Gigavice deck to actually become a thing again. I don't mind seeing this at 3. I think it's fine at 3. I really do. 3 Lone Fire, 1 Glow Up Bulb, 1 Spore, 1 Dandy. It just screams plants again. But it also makes sense because from the standpoint of Konami, we have Sylvans. We want you to get excited about Sylvans. You're going to get excited about Dark Worlds because of Crush Card. They can abuse that, right? What do Sylvans players, what would you get excited over? Lone Fire at 3. All right, now when I pull them, I want to get the rest of the deck. I go to the Megatins. That seems the Konami thing. We still got fucking Megatins on the shelves. Let's sell those things, Let's get our retail partners to buy more. It just seems something like Konami would do. I may be incorrect as hell, but I really do think Lone Fire Blossom at 3 is going to be a thing. Also looking at what could come down is Chaos Sorcerer. Chaos has not done anything this entire format. Yes, I just said that. I'm not being biased. And honestly, I could say this from being a Chaos Dragon player, I probably would not play the 3rd one. As crazy as that sounds, like, hey, that's another boss monster. Yeah, it's also another dead draw. I don't really think 3 Chaos Sorcerer would be a problem. And I did leave Chaos Emperor Dragon off. Trust me, I know. Because I don't see it in Gold Series. Now, if it is in Gold Series, I definitely think it's returning. I don't think you're bringing it back right now. I think they're going to wait. They're going to see exactly how it plays out in OCG. Give us the errata, then say it's off the ban list. I think they don't want to scare us to the point of, like, holy shit, 6 cards just came off the ban list. It just seems that way, you know what I mean? Chaos Sorcerer, though, to 3 seems to make sense. They could print it in Gold Series, or they could just bring it back to 3. Nothing out there is really going to be impacted. I'm being fair. Nothing's really going to be impacted. Standard Chaos decks, Standard Chaos would get a buff. Chaos Dragons could play the 3rd Chaos Sorcerer. Would I really recommend it? Depends on your build, but most of the time, no. For me, it's going to be a no, but I see it coming to 3. It just makes sense. Heretics Seal of Conviction. If there was ever a perfect time for Konami to say, we want you to fucking, we want you to we want you to buy more Heretics, right? Heretics Seal of Conviction. Now's the time. Dark Matter Dragon. Let's put this at 3. It's at 2. Let's put it to 3. Let's give Dark Matter a thing to do. I know I'm going to get like 5 dislikes. Thank you, people, for disliking. You know why? Because I'm not promoting Dark Matter. I don't like the deck. I'm looking at it from Konami's standpoint. They want to make as much money as fast as possible. Make Dark Matter tier 1. I know we all hate it. The deck dies to locking on special summons, though. But in all seriousness, this basically allows Heretics to, basically say, hey, we got 3 of these now. Why don't you come over here and play Dark Matter Dragon? Because when you play Dark Matter Dragon, you can OTK your opponent so ridiculously fast that they don't know what happened, and you can steal stuff out of your opponent's deck. That sounds amazing, because you could overlay like 9 times and just get away with it and rip stuff from your opponent's deck. That makes sense. For some decks, it's actually a benefit. For a lot, it sucks. But it just seems the Konami thing to do to make as much money as I can. And Heretics are in Gold Series, so let's put this to 3. Now, for the last pick for my 2-3 section on this prediction list, I'm going to say Ceasefire. I always like to throw in that what the fuck kind of thing just to get people talking. But in all seriousness, I think Ceasefire at 3 would be perfect. I don't really see a deck abusing the crap out of it. Outside of Chain Burn, I know. Burn's still a thing. I know. But in all seriousness, I see Ceasefire coming to 3 being a thing because I just really don't know. It just makes sense to clear up the ban list a little bit. Clear up that semi-section just a little bit more and just get Ceasefire out of there. Its time is up. It's been on the list long enough. Just take it off and let's be done. That's my whole prediction list. I am hoping you guys are taking your time to write down yours, whatever the hell they may be. I left off Stratos because I don't see it in Gold Series. If I don't see it in Gold Series, it doesn't make sense for them to bring it back. Heroes would be fine with it or without it. I don't care how people say, hey, it's broken. We have Shadow Mist. We really don't need Stratos. But the only point to bring Stratos back is to clear up the ban list a little bit more. But people don't really like to listen to that, so whatever. Just say. Other part, I left out Chaos Emperor Dragon for the same exact reason. I don't see it being in Gold Series yet, because it just seems like Konami doesn't want to overwhelm the TCG player base and say, holy shit, Chaos Dragon's back. I think it's something they're going to leave for July after Nationals. But, you know, it's kind of hard to say where Konami exactly is taking this list, because, let's be honest here, the numbers have dropped for attendance, and we need that really good ban list, and I don't feel this is going to be the one. And I know many of you will care to disagree because, let's be honest here, when you guys don't like something, you guys have the loudest voice. And that's not me saying that you are the loudest people, that just means you're the most active saying it. When I say that Heavy Storm coming back to the game, and now I'm going to phrase that into Feather Duster or Cold Wave coming back to the game, would shake the game up in the right direction, I truly heartily mean that, because I think most people would actually attend it more at tournaments than they do now. And I know some people are saying, but we're almost to the perfect list. I don't think we'll ever hit the perfect list. I think it always has to be shaken up. Sometimes you need that back row hate, sometimes you don't. Do we need it right now? Yes, because the game is stale. But I left it off on this list because it's it's not a production. It's a, what would Konami do? If I was in Konami's shoes and they were going from their business aspect to the TCG players, what exactly would they do? So that's what this whole video was to dissect. Not my own personal, wants. My personal wants are very, very different. Some of it still reflects on this list to a point, like Global going to 2 or Dark Strike Fire. It just makes sense. For the rest of it, it just seems the Konami way. Let me know what you guys think down below. Take a look at Gold Series, and you'll start seeing how I pieced this together to a point. And also, I spent a whole week doing this. I took off yesterday, Sunday, just to prepare this video for you to make sure it's the best of the best that I possibly could give you. So I apologize for there being no video on Sunday. There was a video on Saturday, which was a dual video that was supposed to go up on Friday, but then because Friday is stock market. So again, my apologies, but I wanted to make sure that I got everything I wanted to say in this video said. So again, thank you for taking time out of your day. Sorry for all the tongue twists. It's just really late at night and I'm exhausted. But thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this. Make sure to rate, comment, and if you're new, subscribe for more. I'm ready for the TheYugiohCouncil. I will catch you on the next video. And make sure to leave down below if you do not want me to use your ban list prediction. Just let me know in the comments. It just makes it simple. But I'm going to read them off. Unless you don't want me to, block it off. And then we'll talk about that on Friday. And then you guys will be able to see what people think. Anyway, I'm ready for the TheYugiohCouncil. Thanks for watching. Peace.